What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. The Mariners dropped this one 10-7 today to the Cubs. They fall to 38-37 on the season. You guys and gals know the big three. If you can like the video, comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for me if you are new or just lurking around. Before I dive into the game at all, thoughts and prayers for both Trent Thornton and the home plate umpire today. We saw Trent Thornton almost pass out on the mound there in the eighth inning. So scary situation there. Then the umpire had to leave, with some heat exhaustion issues. So hopefully both guys are doing better. That humidity and that heat is brutal. I'm in Arizona, so it's a dry heat. I'm used to it. But let me tell you, and for me, the humidity is much worse. I can't stomach even 2% humidity, and I'm drenched. But when you're in that kind of heat, it is tough, and you don't realize how quickly it can get to you. So obviously, we won't see Thornton tomorrow because he threw so many pitches. But hopefully, he's back and fine, and hopefully the umpire's out there tomorrow as well. People and players' health and safety is far more important than any result of a game. So hopefully, both are doing okay tonight and getting hydrated and feeling better. As far as the game goes, like Mariners got a chance to win a series tomorrow. Against a really good Cubs team on the road. If you had told me before the series, Jay, they're playing for a series W on Sunday, would have absolutely taken it. This series is not the one that has been any type of backbreaker for the team. A frustrating loss, as they all are. There's no such thing as a non-frustrating loss, especially when you're in the Mariners' position where you don't have a ton of wiggle room. Every loss is going to feel like the loss. But again, I would certainly point back to Baltimore series, National series, and stuff like that. Even a little bit of the LA series as well has more indictments on the team than this. Now, I sound like a broken record. I'm going to say the same thing I do every loss. Doesn't mean there's not frustrating things within the loss, right? Like the pitching, awful today. A lot of wind, a lot of issues. We'll talk about it, but not good enough, giving up 10 runs. The offense does put up 7. Can't really be mad at a team that scores 7 runs in a game. That should win you the majority of baseball games. But they still left opportunities out there, right? In the second inning, they had a runner at third, nobody out, couldn't add on. I think it was in the sixth, they had first and third, nobody out, couldn't score. So even there, the offense still left some stuff on the board and a chance to maybe, put up a couple more runs as well. So from that aspect, the game itself, yes, frustrating. Big picture, if you just want to look at that, this is a really good Cubs team, a Cubs team that could definitely be in the NLCS, taking on the Dodgers or, even further than that potentially. And the Mariners have gone toe to toe with them. They've actually outscored them so far in the series. And the Mariners have their ace on the mound tomorrow with a chance to win this series. So from that aspect, totally fine. But again, like still frustrating things within the game for sure. So let's dive into some of that. Let's start as we always do with the pitching. Emerson Hancock, 4 innings, 6 hits, 9 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 5 Ks, gave up 4 home runs. Emerson Hancock was bad. There's no way to beat around the bush. He was not good, wind or no wind. However, I'm as someone that's been very critical of Hancock after that first start against Detroit, I was done. I'm not going to really judge him too much on this start. Tough ballpark to pitch in, tough conditions, really good lineup. And yes, I don't think a lot of what he gave up there was like a double by Pete Crow Armstrong that was wind aided. I think the home runs were for the most part, pretty legit, but he's also a pitcher that doesn't have the stuff to just blow teams away. So when he's dealing with a tough lineup and win like that, it looked like he was trying to nibble a lot, kind of work around the strike zone, get guys to chase or maybe roll over some stuff, and it just wasn't working for him. I do think the conditions did play a factor for Emerson Hancock today. It is a game that I'm kind of going to throw out for him. Now, unfortunately, the Mariners, again, aren't in position to throw out games. They're not far enough ahead in the standings or too far behind where you can just go, oh, whatever, so be it. It stinks. It hurt them. But for Emerson Hancock individually, I'm not going to judge this start too much for him. I think it was just the perfect storm, and he was hit hard. And every mistake he paid for today. Couldn't get away with nibbling. The Cubs, when they needed to take their walks, took their walks. And then when Hancock did come in the strike zone, he was punished for it by Ian Happ, Kyle Tucker, who else? I think Bush hit a home run against him as well. So, and in terms of leaving him in there for 4 innings, now taking the heat factor out of the equation, which could have been a detriment to Trent Thornton maybe there. So I'm just factoring in baseball here. I'm not factoring in the potential heat exhaustion being out there. I didn't have a problem having Emerson Hancock eat it a little bit. After the Cubs got to 7, 8, 9, at that point with the heat, well, I just said I'm not going to factor in the heat. Now I'm doing it. But I shouldn't say with the heat, but with 17 games in 17 days, starters are going to have to eat it when they struggle a little bit when that happens. Mariners have a lot of baseball games, tough baseball games. They can't afford to turn all these into short starts with bullpen games. You only had 5 innings from Kirby yesterday. And I will say, watching today, I think we can appreciate Kirby's start a little bit more on the bump yesterday. But sometimes starting pitchers have to eat. If you take Hancock out after 2, you're making roster moves tomorrow. There's no way around it. And they may have to anyways, potentially. It wouldn't shock me if Thornton goes on the IL or something, just to kind of get over it, what happened today, and they bring somebody up. But like I said, when you have this many games in this many days, sometimes starters have to eat it. Now, with the heat and everything, it doesn't look like Hancock had any issues with that, so think he's fine. But you definitely want to be careful. I'm not saying you want guys going out there and just passing out, obviously, but sometimes the starting pitcher's got to eat it. There's no way around it. Zach Pop, there was the 5th inning, gives up 2 hits. I think he gave up the home run to Pete Crow Armstrong. Fun fact, Pete Crow Armstrong's mom was in Little Big League. She was what was the kid's name? Lou Haywood, or was that the first baseman's name? I forgot, but the kid that manages the team, his mom in the movie is Pete Crow Armstrong's mom in real life. That might be something that everybody knows, might be something that nobody knows. I don't know. But Pop, there was that inning. Shout out to Trent Thornton, 2 1/3, 1 hit, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, no runs. Not only did Trent Thornton gut it out there and almost pass out, it's like I said, hopefully thoughts and prayers for Trent Thornton that he's doing okay. Saved the bullpen as best he could going 2 1/3. He threw 51 pitches. Great job by Trent Thornton. Saw some people kind of getting on Dan for leaving him out there. Here's the thing. It's not like the managers and coaches don't talk to players in between innings. They might have asked him, can you give us one more? And Thornton probably said, absolutely, I got you. I don't know. I'm not in the dugout, but I doubt he said, oh man, I feel like I'm going to pass out from pitching. He said, too bad, get back out there. It's 2025. That's not how things work anymore. Nobody's doing that. Even the most old school managers aren't making players push through these things anymore. Sure, Thornton said he was okay. There was probably no indication of anything, and it just hit him. Like I said, I work outside. Again, dry heat, humid, different, but it can just hit you out of nowhere sometimes. So I don't think Dan did anything mean's probably malicious here. I don't think he made a mistake. I think he tried to get a 3rd inning out of Thornton, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. Then they got him out of the game. They did the right thing. It's all right? I think Thornton's going to be fine. I don't think Dan mismanaged that in any way. You got to keep players' health in consideration. They do. They absolutely do. Nobody is trying to get anybody, going through any issues out there. So not trying to do PR work for them. There's lots of things we can get on Dan, Jerry, Justin, ownership for. That to me is not one of them. And then Legumina finishes it up with 2/3 of an inning and a strikeout. So could see a roster move tomorrow. Tough in these games. Also, can we play some night games in Chicago? Like, they have lights now. Can we play like a 6 p.m. local time game? Would that be the worst thing when you've got heat like this going on? I get the tradition of the day games, but if you want to blame anybody, blame Wrigley or the Cubs for having this game at 1 p.m. right into that heat of the day. So that's a bigger issue to me. I don't know why we can't have, or make them early in the morning. Hey, I'll wake up and watch them. I'm up at 6, so I'll watch some 7 a.m. Mariners baseball, and then I have my whole day in front of me. Not the worst thing ever. Listen, if Mariners offense pumps out 14 hits, 2 walks, there were some wind-aided doubles, but, beggars can't be choosers. We'll take it. Cal Raleigh, 30th home run. I'm just out of words for Cal Raleigh. 30 home runs. I mean, he hit 30 home runs is a ton to hit in a season. That is a lot if you hit 30 home runs in a season. Cal Raleigh just did it in game, what are we at, 75? We're not even halfway into the season yet, and Cal's got 30. The dude's on pace for like 62 home runs. Just, I'm out of words. Like I said, yeah, I really am. It's not even trying to be like, I don't know what else to say. Cal's the man. I mean, I just don't know what else to say about the guy that can be added on to it. I don't have any fancy data to break down about him. He's just incredible. JP goes 2 for 5 with a run scored. Julio 1 for 4 with the double and a walk. Cal 1 for 5 with the home run. I'm going to get into the offense here overall. I'm just going through real quick. Polanco goes 2 for 4 with the walk and 3 runs scored. He was on base 3 times. Randy was 1 for 4. I also think he was hit by a pitch, so he was on base twice. Welcome back, Luke Raley. He's 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Been great to have Luke back in this lineup. Solano stays hot, 3 more hits and 2 more RBIs for him. Back-to-back 3-hit days. Cole Young 0 for 2 with an RBI. Dylan Moore pinched hit, and Dylan's defense did a pretty solid line drive that Happ caught, and Ben Williamson was 1 for 4. On the surface, it looks good. And again, I am not going to blame an offense when they scored 7 runs. The pitching was the issue today. Maybe some of that was the weather conditions and the wind in Chicago. But Emerson Hancock gave up almost 10 runs in 4 innings. That's why the Mariners did lose this baseball game overall. But there were opportunities here for this offense to put up a little bit more. And it's like, again, I talk about with Julio, right? A walk and a double. Now, the double was a little wind dated, but it's there, right? I mean, if we went back and looked at every player's hits throughout the year and took away the ones that were not hit as hard and whatnot, and then balanced out what was hit, things would probably come out the same. But, in the in the biggest situations, in the 6th inning, the Mariners have first and third, down 10-6, nobody out. You get a base knock there, something like that, 10-7, tying runs up, still nobody out. You're cooking. Julio strikes out. Like, even Cal in that inning strikes out in a tough spot there. Cal's going to get more of a leeway from me because Cal is putting up an MVP type number season. And then Polanco strikes out. Like, Julio gets on base twice. That's great. That's not a bad thing. Julio's on base percentage today, 400. Very solid. Also gets picked off. And I swear Julio gets picked off more than anybody in the first inning. And I'm sorry, I think that was a key moment in the game. I know the final score ends up being 10-7, but you've got Cal Raleigh up, 1 out, runner on. The starting pitcher was it Horton? Horton was at like 18, 19 pitches. Pitches maybe a little bit different to Cal. You're not going to be as aggressive to him with the runner at first. You're going to pitch maybe a little more nervous. Maybe Cal works a walk there. Then Horton's at 25 pitches. It can change the whole inning. It just, like, even when Julio's reaching, there's something boneheaded to go along with it. I'm tired of seeing him picked off. I don't have the numbers in front of me who's been picked off the most in baseball. So listen, sometimes my rants are statistical. Sometimes they are anecdotal. I will fully admit that they're not always grounded in reality. But man, I swear Julio's been picked off more than, I swear the Mariners have been picked off more than anybody. Like, if you're going to go, but like, come on. So that's frustrating. Not just trying to pick on Julio here, that there's other blame to go around, but Julio just kind of sums it up sometimes. So, and then in the 2nd inning, they had first and third after a bunch of bloops and wind-dated hits. They had, I think, first and third, nobody out. And Randy was at third, and Solano hit the grounder, and Randy just goes home when, if you wait for the throw to be made, you could probably score anyways. If he waits for the throw to second or first, he can probably come home. Or if he just stays put and Chicago can't turn 2, you still have a runner at third with less than 2 outs. The team's situational hitting just continues to be, I mean, they did in the 5th inning, runners on, put a bunch through. I'm going to stop. They scored 7 runs, like, not the problem, but I think you all know what I'm talking about, right? It's just, like Emerson Hancock was just bad. Like, I can't emphasize any more of that, right? I'll give, and again, remember too, like, I want to be clear because it's like, Jay, you just talked about giving Hancock some excuses for giving up 9 runs in 4 innings, and now you're getting after an offense that scored 7 runs. Again, I'll go back to what I said a few minutes ago. Hancock was the reason they lost, not the offense. But I'm just trying to break it down a little bit further on, okay, yes, on the surface, they scored 7, but there's some frustrating things. So yes, good on the surface, but let's break it down a little bit deeper. Hancock, yes, he was awful on the surface, but let's break it down a little bit deeper and find the underlying issues. It's kind of hey, this was great, but here's how this could be better. Hey, this was bad, but here's how it wasn't that bad, is maybe a better way to put it. So, again, the offense does a lot of things well. They've scored 16 runs in this series. If they could just do a little bit better in some of those situational spots, who knows? Maybe this is 10-9. Maybe this is a 10-10 game. And that's without hits. That's like some ground balls or sack flies or something like that. So now on the flip side, too, at the offense, there was a bunch of fly balls that would normally be caught that wouldn't have scored either. So who knows? Other than that, I don't have a lot else to say on this one. This is not going to be the series, no matter what happens tomorrow, that we will look back in September and go, oh man, that's why they didn't get in by a game. This isn't going to be the series. This is a tough one. This is when you just hope that you don't get obliterated, which they've done, right? They won the first game. So no matter what happens, they didn't get decimated in Chicago. This is a tough road trip. These are the road trips where if you can go 5-5, you do take it because you're playing three good baseball teams. It's the homestands when you're playing the bad teams or the other road trips where you play a bad team and a mediocre team. You go 1-5 or you go 2-7 on a homestand that includes the Nationals and Orioles. Those are the ones that are the killers. Those are the ones that drag you down the most. These are ones where you go, yeah, the Cubs are really good. Mariners have outscored them through 2 games. Like they've gone toe to toe with a good baseball team here. So on the positive note, got a chance to win a series tomorrow, and you feel good with Logan Gilbert on the bump. It's supposed to be even hotter tomorrow. I don't know what the wind is supposed to be like, so we'll see. It could be another crazy game here. In terms of Solano at first, I think what they should be doing here is kind of rotating it through. Like maybe tomorrow I'm putting Rayleigh at first and then Canzone and right. You're going to need to give Luke Rayleigh probably some days off occasionally. Solano at first, Canzone and right. You could put Polo at second occasionally and have Rayleigh DH, stuff like that. So I think they can find at-bats here for everybody. And I do kind of like Dom being off the bench. In the top of the ninth there, Cal obviously hits the home run and Luke Rayleigh gets the single. Solano reaches there. I feel okay with Dom being able to come in and pinch hit there after that in that situation as a tying run. Would he have come through? More than likely not, but you feel okay there with Dom Canzone as a tying run. You feel like you have somebody up that if he gets that fastball that he can run into, he can put it out of the ballpark. So, I guess in some ways, like this is kind of an encouraging series a little bit. The offense is clicking a little bit here, despite some of the little things they've got to tinker and figure out. Cal continues to mash. So then get a good start from Logan Gilbert tomorrow. You've got the pen ready to go. Munoz, Spire, Brash, all good to go. So you've got a good opportunity tomorrow to, hopefully win this series. That's all I've got. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Mariners.